The following is a presentation of Kamehameha Schools, Bernice Pauahi Bishop Estate.
Aloha. Aloha mai. Welcome to Kulāiwi. O keia kahelu e walu o nā ho'ike umikumamalua. This is the 8th of 12 Hawaiian language lessons sponsored by Kamehameha Schools Bishop Estate in collaboration with the State Department of Education. O e kelakani aupi o Crozier ko uinoa, a oau ke kumu no keia papa. A makimaki au e mahalo ia o kou no kanana ana mai ia Kulāiwi. Okay, now, at least that much you should have understood. How was that, okay? Did you get that? Makimaki au, e mahalo aku, ia o ko apau, no kanana ana mai ia Kulāiwi, for watching Kulāiwi. Hopefully you've been taking what we learned and using it all over the place. I know that some of you have told me, every week I see a few of you who tell me, oh, wow, we're really learning a lot now. The real test is, have you been taking it out to other people? Have you been trying it out on others? And practicing and teaching, and just using it, because that's what this language is all about. If all you're doing is sitting and watching on TV and going, oh, this is great, and not using it, awe poho. Yeah, you have to take it out, talk story with somebody. Use this language, use the olelo. Make it useful, make it real for you and your ohana. Mai kae. Before we begin today, of course, I'd like to give you the phone numbers that you can call. If you have any questions about the Hawaiian language, translations, or questions about grammar, or like some of you have called the info line because you're learning Hawaiian in a class somewhere, and you have a question about something that you've been learning, and so you leave that question. That's really my ka'i, because that's how we want to be, useful to you, is being able to answer your questions about anything that you have. So anyway, if you want to ask a question of us that you don't want to come in the air, or it doesn't have anything to do with today's lesson, you may call the Kulāiwi info line, okay? And it's just a machine, so just leave your name and your number and your question, and someone will get back to you on Monday. Okay, and the number there is 842-8059. There it is on your screen. Once again, 842-8059. And please, if you hear the machine come on, don't hang up. Talk story, just leave your name and your number. And I know some of us get little hila to talk on a machine, but there's no other way. That's the only way to get in touch with us. So, mai hila. Don't be ashamed. Just, vaiho your inoa and kauhelu kelepona and your phone number, and I'll call you. Okay, and if you're interested in purchasing tapes of the show, we're not into really going all out and selling, but we know that there's a great number of you out there who are wondering how you can get copies. The number to call is 842-8876. Okay, that's the number that you call for tape requests, 842-8876. And anyone who answers, you just tell them your name and your number and what you'd like. And we also have individual tapes, because I know some of you have tapes of the other classes, but then you're missing maybe one or two here and there, and you like those. So they're $10 for the individual ones, and then $96 for the entire set. And the entire set won't be available, of course, until we're all doing these, because they're live, okay? So when you see strange things happen, there's no control over that, okay? If you'd like to call the show today and ask me some questions, not only about today's lessons, but maybe lessons in the past, feel free to call us. Those of you on Oahu, call 946-0700. Again, 946-0700. And our Ohana on the neighbor islands, you call us 1-800-342-7949. Once again, 1-800-342-7949. Yeah, that's a free call. And I invite all of you to give us a call and ask questions. Today we'll be going over some of the things that we've done in our past lessons and then kind of expanding from there. Okay, I hope you've been practicing those pronouns. I know that was a really tough one, last week, but I know like my supervisors at work have been watching, and I called him up this week, and there he was, practicing maua, kaua, laua, and it seems to me that he got it. But like I said last week, it takes a lot of practice. There's no way this thing just kind of comes like that. You have to take the time and see who everyone is. So before we go on today, I'd like to take a little time just to practice that, and see if you remember. Okay, there's au, au, oi. And remember, you're doing it with me. So when I say, oh, I'm pointing to you, you point to me, okay? Because you're talking to me. Like I always tell me, says, I'm the center of your attention, so you just keep pointing towards me when we say oi, okay? Hana ho. Au. You say au. Maikai. Oi. Oia. Maua. Remember, these are the twos. Me and somebody else, okay? Maua. Kaua. Olua, and hopefully you have somebody else with you, and if not, pretend, okay? Olua, and I'm pretending, okay? Alaua, they too, laua, okay? So like if I wanted to say, the two of them go to the store. Hele laua, ika hale ku'ai. Yeah? If us two eat poi in the morning, okay, only Hawaiians eat poi in the morning. Okay, ai maua I ka poi I ke kakahiaka. Ai maua, laua, they too. Okay, how about all of the other ones? There were others, right? Mako, that's me and two or more people. Okay, mako. Kako, kako, that's you, me, and everybody else that we would like to include in that, okay? That's why when we wanted to say, let's go, e hele kako, aye? If it was just you and me, let's go, just the two of us, then what is that? Okay, I assume you said, rightfully, e hele kaua. Ah, polole, e hele kaua. What if it's, let's eat? E ai kaua, mai kai. Let's watch. E nana kaua. Hikiro, mai kai. Okay, so it was mako, kako, all of you, oko, mai kai. All of them, lako. Hikiro. Okay, like I said, that takes a lot of practice. But, with practice, it comes perfect. Okay, so ho'oma'ama'a, that's the word, ho'oma'ama'a. Okay, it's made up of the word ma'a. I don't know if you've ever heard that word, but people will say, oh, I'm not ma'a to doing that. Yeah, I'm not used to doing that. Ma'a. So to make something ma'a, you have to ho'oma'ama'a. Okay, you have to make it ma'a, ho'oma'ama'a. Practice. Okay, so that's the word for today for all of you. Ho'oma'ama'a. All those pronouns, because I know that's a lot to remember, but you can do it. Hikino. Okay, mai kae. Today we have a very beautiful vignette to bring to you today. It's on Kea Hawaii, on sovereignty. And I know everybody gets a little touchy, gets a little, we all have deep mana'o about this, or some of us may not have any mana'o at all. But what this vignette brings to us is Kunane coming home from school. And he looks a little, concerned. And so Nina o Tutu Yaya, Tutu asks him, Oh, hea ko pilikia, you know. Hea ko pilikia. Do you recognize that? Remember hea ko make make? What do you want? In this case, hea ko pilikia. What's your pilikia? And he, he tells her, well, not really anything, but she gets him to sit down and talk story. So they sit down and they talk story, and he explains to her about how he feel, how today at school, the teacher was talking about Ea Hawaii, Ke Ea Hawaii, Hawaiian sovereignty. And he asks her mana'o, and how she feels. And she says some very beautiful things. And I'm not, like I said, when we start these videos, I don't usually tell you what they're saying. What I want you to do is listen to those key words. Listen to the structures, the patterns that they're using. Try to put it all together for yourself. And then after that, we'll move to the other side and we'll practice it, okay? But this one has a lot of mana'o, a lot of meaning. And, it's vai vai, this conversation. I'm not going to tell you what vai vai is because we talked about vai vai 3 times in the past, okay? But it is a very beautiful vignette. And so I'm going to ask you to sit back, relax, don't get all, ha'alulu about what's going to come up. Just relax and think, I can understand this, no problem. I'm getting better. This is number 8. I should be able to understand anything now. Okay, so sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you as soon as it's pau. Ahui ho.
Aloha mai e kunane, pehea oe.
Maikai e tutu, a o'oe?
Oia mauno, mahalo. E ku'u mo'opuna, hea ko pilikia. Make oe e wala au me a'u.
Ha'ole, a ohe pilikia.
E, o wau kou tutu, ua mala mau ia oe mai kou wā li'i. E olelu mai.
Ai hiki no.
Mikai.
Keia la o olelo ke kumu e pili ana I kea Hawaii.
A hea kou mana'o.
A ole wau ike, o ko'a loa o Hawaii keia manawa. No hea mai oe e tutu?
Ike oe, no hau'ula mai au.
Ai, a ka, no ke aha noho kākou ma ma'ili.
No ka mea, ku ai ke au puni I ko'u aina ohana e hane I ka pakakahakai ma hau'ula. Ne e au me kou kupuna kane I ma'ili. No ka mea, e me ka aina me ka hale ma'anei.
A hau oli oe?
Ano hau oli? Vela ke ia wahi a ka olu na hoa noho. A
ka he aha?
Make nui au e malama I ka malaʻai a me ke ka lo'i kalo a pela aku. Mai ka I ke ia wahi no ka lawai'a, a ole no ka mahi ai.
Make oe ka ea Hawaii?
I ko'u mana'o, ho'omaka ke ea Hawaii ma ka hale. E malama mua kākou I ko kākou kuliana. He Hawaii oe e kunane. He hakou kuliana.
Malama ko'u ohana, a me ke akua, imi I ka na'au wau. Malama I ka olelo, me ka mo'omeheu Hawaii.
Ike oe, nui kou mau kuliana ma ka hale. A ka na'e, e ho'omākaukau oe, e ho'olohe I na i'ini o ka po'e Hawaii. E helu I na nupepa, a e hele I na halawai no ke ea Hawaii. E imi pono I ka na'au wau. Maika I ke ea I nā mākaukau kākou.
Did you understand? I, aole, parts, ano, yeah. It's kind of understood, maikai. Okay, let's start by looking at the very first thing that Tutu asks. Remember, I spoke about this earlier. Let's just look at that. Heaha ko pilikia. Heaha ko pilikia. Hikino, ma'anei. Heaha ko pilikia. Oh, we're a little bit kapakahilia on this one. Okay. Heaha ko pilikia. Remember we saw maki maki here before. Yeah. Want. In this case, hea hako pilikia, what is your pilikia? What is your problem? Okay, and this is meant with all aloha, not, like, oh, what's your problem? It's more like, hea hako pilikia. There's real, true concern. Okay, and when he says nothing, that, a'ohe mea, a'ohe pilikia, yeah, no more pilikia, she says, come on now. Malama au ya oe mai kou va li'i. And this is kind of like an idiom in a way, from your little time. Okay, that's what this is. This va is a period of time. Okay, so malamao, actually, I'm not going to translate because I would really like for you to start practicing seeing it and just maupopo. Malamao ya oe. And remember this ya from last week? We saw this ya in front of a name. Now we're seeing the ya in front of the pronoun, in front of oi. Okay? Now if Tutu was talking to all of her mo'opuna, and she was to say, I take care of all of you. Malamau ya oko. Malamau ya oko. If it was just I take care of all of you too, malamau ya olua. Okay, we'll put olu over here. Okay, just as a reminder, mai kou va li'i. Kou va li'i. Now some of you are wondering, okay, and some of you smart people are out there going, okay, oi, that's you, and kou is your. What happens when oi changes to olua? That's right, this has to change too. And all that happens is it becomes, well, let's change this first, okay? Malamau ya olua. Mai ko olua va li'i. Okay? How's that? Malamau ya olua, mai ko olua va li'i. Because it's not your for only one person now, it's your for two of them. Your two. So this is if Tutu was talking to Kunane and Pualei. Yeah, and she was to say, malamau ya olua, mai ko olua va li'i. And what if we change this olua to oko? Okay? Come on, all of you Akamai people out there, think about it. If we change olua to oko, then we have to change this olua to oko also. Okay? So your small kid time. Mai ko oko va li'i. Okay? Okay, I'm not going to make it any more difficult on you. But that's so that it agrees. Yeah? Oi, ko, olua, oko, ko oko. Hikino? Okay? Mai kai. All right. If you have any questions about that, you should call, okay? Now let's go on to the next one where she says, Ku'ai ke aupuni. Aupuni is the government or the state. Ke aupuni. I ko'u kalamai, I just whacked the back. I ko'u aina ohana. E hana I kapaka. Hana ho. Ku'ai ke aupuni. I ko'u aina ohana. Yeah, remember I told you that when you're describing something, unlike English, we put it in the back. Okay? Ku'ai keaupuni. Remember what keaupuni was? Okay, government, ai mai kai. Ku'ai keaupuni I ko'u aina ohana e hana to make. E hana I kapaka. I kapaka. Paka, park, for lack of a better word. Okay? Hana ho. Ku'ai keaupuni I ko'u aina ohana e hana I kapaka. Let's take a look at that, because that's a mouthful. Okay? Kalamai hikino. Ku'ai ke aupuni I ko'u aina ohana e hana I ka paka. This is the new part. See, this is stuff that you already have learned. This is the part that's new. To make I ka paka, a park. Hiki no? Okay, let's take a look at this. You see in Hawaiian, and I'm going to repeat this because I want you to remember, that in Hawaiian what's important is what took place, not who. In English, who is always important, and that's why that always starts out our sentences, okay? But in Hawaiian, you see the what, the ku'ai, okay? This is what's happening. So ku'ai, remember what is ku'ai? To buy. Ku'ai ke aupuni I ko'u aina ohana e hana I ka paka. Anybody want to call up and tell me what is aina ohana? I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's see if you're clicking with me today. All right, maikai. Okay, now I'm going to show you a new, kind of new thing when we use the word maua. Sometimes, like when you talk about maua, you're not real sure, okay, it's me and somebody else. But who's the somebody else? If I was to tell you, hele maua I Kahakai Beach. Hele maua I Kahakai. Well, you sit there, you go, well, who's the other person, Because, okay, I know it's maua, but there's nobody around me, and I just tell you, hele maua I Kahakai. Well, this is how you do it. You say, hele maua o Sam I Kahakai. Or hele maua o Kaleo I Kahakai. Or hele maua o Ko Hoaloha, your friend, I Kahakai. Okay? And that's how you do it. You just put it right after maua, you say o and whoever it is. Okay? You can put their name, you can put who exactly it is. In this case, she says to Kunane, Ne'e maua o kou kupuna kane I ma'ili. Ne'e, to move, okay? Ne'e maua o kou kupuna kane I ma'ili. You get that? Kupuna kane, kupuna wahine. We've had this before. Okay, I'll give you a couple seconds. Kupuna, okay. Grandfather, kupuna kane. Grandmother, kupuna wahine. Okay, let's try it again. So me and your grandfather moved to Ma'ili. Okay, hana home. Ne'e maua o kou kupuna kane I Ma'ili. Hiki no? Hana home. Ne'e, to move. Ne'e maua o kou kupuna kane I Ma'ili. Hana ho. Let's just take a look at it. Okay? Awe. Okay. Okay, ne'e maua o kou kupuna kane I Ma'ili. There you go. Okay, there's that word, Ma'ili. The other day, it was so funny. I think I was watching TV, and it was the news, I think, and they were having some kind of surf meet out at Ma'ili Point, and sometimes it said Ma'ili. On one station it said Ma'ili, perfect with kaha ko'okina, everything. On one station it said Maile. On another station it said Maili. We got to get it together. The word is ma'ili, okay? Because sometimes, that's what jams us up, I think. We're watching TV and you think these people are on it. Like they know how it's supposed to be said, how it's supposed to be written. Next thing you know, we have something else there, okay? Ma'ili. So we got that. We understand that. Okay, we have a phone call. Aloha.
Aloha kakahiaka.
Aloha pehea oi.
Maika ino.
Maika oi ko inoa.
Maika olelo Hawaii ka po'e. Wa make awe pane ko nina ka mana'o ka aina ohana ea.
Ai.
He family land.
Ai, family land. Polole aina ohana. Oi ko inoa.
O Malia.
Malia. Aloha Malia. No hea mai oi.
No hilo, no Kilauea.
Oh, mahalo. Kinana nei oi mai hilo ki manawa.
Ai, kinana nei mako.
Oh, mai kai ko ohana ki kahi.
Polole no.
Oh, mai kai mahalo vau I ko kelepona ana mai.
Kane.
Ahui ho aku.
Ahui ho malama.
Aloha.
Mahalo.
Ai. Okay, that was Malia from Hilo, and she was just sharing with me. She came to the rescue of all of you who didn't want to call, okay, and confirmed that all of you who were thinking that Aina Ohana was family land, Polole Oko, okay? You're all correct. Maikai, and mahalo nui ikawahine mai Hilo. Okay. That's right, Kalamai. I forgot. We had another caller from Hilo too when we opened the show, just from someone who said mahalo for this show, and he really enjoys it. I want to say mahalo ya oi for calling and giving us some good, good marks. That way we can go on. Maika mahalo nui no ko kelepona anamai. Okay, we go on to see that she says ho'omaka. Ho'omaka, here we go. We're building our vocabulary, okay? Ho'omaka, we've learned one new verb today, ne'e. Now we're going to learn our second one, and that's ho'omaka to begin. Ho'omaka, ke'ea Hawaii, makahale. Okay? Hanaho. Ho'omaka, ke'ea Hawaii, makahale. Okay? Did you get that? Aole. What is Ke'a Hawaii? That's what the whole program is about today. Hawaiian sovereignty. So ho'omaka, Ke'a Hawaii, makahale. Where does it begin? Mahia e ho'omaka ai Ke'a Hawaii, makahale. Ho'omaka Ke'a Hawaii, makahale. Oia ka mana'o tutu. That's tutu's mana'o. Okay? Let's look at that. Ho'omaka Ke'a Hawaii, makahale. Just like what I said, okay? Ho'omaka. Okay? Ho'omaka, that's our new verb. What if we wanted to say school begins tomorrow? I bet you forget the word for tomorrow. Or some of you going, ole, ho'omana ovo, I remember. Okay? Ho'omaka ke, not ea, ke kula. Ikala apopo. Alright? Okay, how about the show starts in the morning? Ho'omaka ka ho'ike, ike ka kahiaka. Okay? Somebody tells you, hey, when does Kulāiwi begin? You can tell them, Ho'omaka o Kulāiwi I kahola umi. Okay? And all of you are going, what is that kahola umi? Once again, not oko apo, not all of you, but maybe kekahi o oko, some of oko. Okay? Hola umi, 10 o'clock. Okay? Ho'omaka o Kulāiwi ika hola. Where do you think the word hola comes from? Hour, not hola, okay? Not like that. Hola, hola umi, okay? Hiki no, maikai. Okay, then she tells him that it's, ho'omaka ke'a Hawaii makahale. And she tells him, he Hawaii oi kunane? He Hawaii oi. Mapobe oko? Yeah, he Hawaii au. He Hawaii oi. But she tells kunane, because she knows, she doesn't ask him. He Hawaii oi kunane? He aha ko kuleana. Remember we had he aha ko pilikia? This one is he aha ko kuleana. Should make one more song, yeah? He aha ko kuleana. Nah, it's just joking. Okay? He aha ko kuleana. Do you remember what kuleana was? That was one of our values that we've learned before. What is your kuleana? What is your responsibility? He aha ko kuleana. And he says to her, Malama I ko'u ohana, ame ko'u akua. Malama I ko'u ohana, ame ko'u akua. Okay, but I think in the vignette he said ame ke akua. Okay, which same thing, ko'u akua, ke akua. Okay, but that's what he says is his kuleana. Okay, let's take a look at that. Malama I ko'u ohana, ame ko'u akua. Now, some of you may say, oh wait, but something's missing in there. Where's the person who's doing the action? It's understood, okay? We know that who's talking, right? Because the question was pointed to him. Kunane he aha ko kuleana. So he doesn't have to say malamau. This is just a kuleana. To what? To malama I ko'u ohana, ame ko'u akua. So sometimes when the person who's doing it is understood, you can leave it out. Aole pilikia. We do it in English too, yeah. If I was asked, what's your responsibility? You say, oh, take care of my family and my God. I malama I ko'u ohana, ame ko'u akua. Hikino. Those of you on the neighbor islands, just a little reminder, you can call 1-800-342-7949, okay, if you'd like to call in studio and ask questions. And those of you on Oahu, 946-0700. This is a good lesson today, and I am more than willing to answer those calls and find out what you need help with. Okay, hikino. Let's go on. He also says, imi ikana awao, okay, imi ikana awao, or imiel ikana awao. All right? What do you think that is? Okay? Imi is to seek, to look for. Na'awao, wisdom. So, that is another one of his kuleana. As a Hawaii, that's our kuleana. Imi ikana awao. Okay? It says, imiel ikana awao, maikai. Let's take a look at that. Okay? Imiel ikana awao. As simple as that. Okay? Imiel ikana awao. You see what's happening is, this is basic. This is something that you've already learned. And all we're doing is replacing, changing certain things. What if I wanted to say, they seek knowledge? Dun, 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 dun. Okay? Are you thinking, are you going to change imi? Ole. Okay, you're going to change, oh, my ka'i. And what are you changing out to? And some of you are out there getting wise with me and saying, well, you want to know they too, or you want to know they plenty? I want to know they plenty, okay? They three or more. So, imi la ko, my ka'i. To all of you who got that polole, my ka'i. Imi la ko ikana awao, okay? They seek knowledge. Now, some of you are now beginning to click, yeah? That you know somebody who's named Ka'imi. And so you're sitting there going, Ka'imi must mean the seeker, yeah? Some people have, that name, Ka'imi Na'awao, the seeker of knowledge. Ka'imi Pono, the rightful seeker, the righteous seeker, or the seeker of rightful things, yeah? So you see, we're learning something today. All right, now here's a test for you. Okay, if I wanted to say, all of us, not you, okay? It's just like if you were talking to me saying, yeah, all of us, not you, Ekela, okay? Take care of the language and the Hawaiian culture. Okay, you need words, you need vocabulary. Language, olelo, okay? Culture, mo'omeheu, okay? Mo'omeheu, traditions, culture, okay? So, all of us take care of the olelo, take care of the language, and the mo'omeheu Hawaii, okay? Okay, so all of us, I'll give you a chance to think about that. Play my song again, dun, 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 okay. Did you get it? Malama, let's look. Okay. Malama, and what are we going to put in here? Have you all gotten it already? You know what it is? Ma, ko, mai ka'i, mai ka'i. Malama ma ko ika olelo, ame ka mo'omeheu Hawaii. Ooh, new word, okay? New word, mo'omeheu. Hikino. It's a new word. It really is. It's one that's been created recently to address that word, culture, tradition, okay? Mo'omeheu Hawaii. Mai ka'i. Okay? A simple one that she says, way up over here. Ike oi. Ike oi. Yeah? Ike oi. You see, you know, okay? This ike. This is to know or to see, okay? Okay. Then she tells him, I'm going to go through the rest. She tells him, E ho'omākaukau oi. This goes back to the pattern that we've had before, right? E ho'omākaukau oi. Do you remember this word, ho'omākaukau? How many of you remember? The base word here is mākaukau, okay? You're going to see a lot of words like this with ho'o in front of the word. And you may be wondering, wow, how come we got plenty of words with ho'o in front, of the base word? Mākaukau in this case, okay? Mākaukau is to be ready, okay? But to cause to be ready, to get ready, to be prepared is ho'omākaukau. That's why you'll hear, at ho'ike hula, you'll hear the kumu say ho'omākaukau, ho'omākaukau, and to tell them to ho'omākaukau, And then once they're all in position, they'll say mākaukau, yeah, that they're ready, okay? Two different mana'o, yeah? If I wanted to tell you, prepare the food, e ho'omākaukau i ka mea ai. Prepare dinner, e ho'omākaukau i ka aina hiahi. But then you want to tell me that dinner is ready? Are you going to say, ho'omākaukau ka aina hiahi ole? Okay, you're going to say, mākaukau ka aina hiahi. Okay, just like that. There's a lot of words, with ho'o, and you're going to see as you go along. And hopefully, you're taking the time to read your dictionary. Remember what I told you, that's the Bible for all Hawaiian language students, okay? Take your time, open up your dictionary, maybe read the H section today, just helu helu ikela. Okay, read the he section, read the la section one day. Okay, just build your vocabulary because that's your kuleana, yeah? O kela ko kuleana, hikino. Okay, but she also gives him other directions. She tells him, e ho'omākaukau oi. Okay, and how is he going to ho'omākaukau? She tells him, e ho'olohe oi ina i'ini o ka po'e Hawaii. E ho'olohe oi. Ho'olohe, here, there's another word, right? Lohe is to hear, just to hear it. Something's passing and you hear it. But to cause yourself to hear it is to listen. Ho'olohe, okay? Some of us think that's the same thing, hearing and listening, a'ole. Some things can go by and you lohe that sound in your car, but then there's those times when you ho'olohe to that sound. So in this case, she tells him, e ho'olohe oi, ina i'ini, na i'ini. Remember na? Just like ka and ke, but more than one, yeah? Na i'ini desires. O ka po'e Hawaii. E ho'olohe, ina i'ini, o ka po'e Hawaii. Po'e Hawaii, Hawaiian people. So I think what she's trying to do is build the next Hawaiian governor, she's talking to him. And she tells him, e ho'olohe oi, ina i'ini o ka po'e Hawaii. Okay, let's take a look at that. Here we go. And of course, in this case, we've left out the oi because it's understood. She's talking to him, so she's telling him, you listen. So like I said, if it's understood who we're talking about or talking to, you can leave it out. E ho'olohe oi, or e ho'olohe, ina i'ini o ka po'e Hawaii. I'ini, new word. Okay. And I like to say aloha to I'ini from Kukui Haile because she's in town this week with her mama. Okay? I'ini, desires. Yeah? O ka po'e Hawaii, of the Hawaiian people. Maikai. So that's one of her pearls of wisdom. Get ready. E ho'olohe ina i'ini o ka po'e Hawaii. E helu helu ina nu pepa. Okay? Helu helu, we've had this before. How many of you remember? Helu helu, that's not count, that's read, okay? E helu helu ina nu pepa. And come on now, you need to put on your tiki cap, so I want you to tell me what is nu pepa, okay? Because if you cannot get this, something's wrong, all right? Nu pepa sounds like newspaper. Mai ka'i. E helu helu ina nu pepa. So, read what? Na nu pepa. Keep up to date, yeah? And E hele ina halavai no keia Hawaii. Okay? E hele ina halavai. New words, plenty vocab today. E hele ina halavai, the meetings, okay? Workshops, meetings. No for keia Hawaii. E hele ina halavai no keia Hawaii. Okay? And then she says, E imi pono I kana awao. E imi pono I kana awao. And seek properly the knowledge, the wisdom. Okay? E imi pono I kana awao. Mai kai. Okay? Now, we're going to see a new word here. Okay? Right here. Aohe. Aohe pilikia. Now, you've been hearing aole. Okay? But aohe is a little different because, actually, aohe is kind of similar, but it's a lot different in that it doesn't mean no or not. It means no more. Okay? So if every time you say aohe, every time you go like this, you can remember that's aohe. This is aole. This is aohe. Okay? It's so wonderful, living in Hawaii because we all get these signs that we do that everybody understands, So if you tell if your keiki comes up, it goes, oh, mama, maki maki vau ike kala. Ike teo, aohe kala. Okay? Aohe. Aohe. It's a wonderful thing to learn right now. Okay? Aohe, if you can remember this, is not the same because aole says no or not, and aohe once again says no more. I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but sometimes I think I have to say it 3-4 times until people go, okay, I got that now. And if you say it one more time, Mikela, we want to slap you. Okay? Aole, no, not. Aohe, no more. Okay? And the reason why I do this over and over is because I'm tired of people coming up to me going, oh, aole kala. It is not aole kala. It's aohe kala. Okay? Aohe hale. Yeah? Like Manuela boy, aohe kala, aohe hale, poor thing. Okay? Aohe. So can you practice that today? Like if you go to someplace, to the store, maybe you look for something, and you ask somebody, oh, do you have da 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 da? And they go, oh, no more. You can turn around and tell them, oh, no, say this, aohe. Okay? That's how you begin to take this language to everybody. Just a word here, a word there. Next thing you know, people go, wow, I want to learn Hawaiian language. Okay? So when he's asked, hea hako pilikia, he turns around, Kunani turns around and tells Tutu, aohe pilikia. Yeah. But this is a pilikia. It bothers him. Aohe pilikia. Okay? All right. And I thought I would give you one last response to pehea oi. Okay? We've heard pehea oi in plenty different answers, but this one is the one that we hear most often from our kupuna. Awe, kalamai, e kalamai. It's not here, it's here, okay? And that's oya mauno, okay? Same as always, hikiro. And that's just thrown in there because I was asked, well, what if I've heard people say oya something, what does that mean? That's what it is. Oya mauno, same as always, hikiro. Okay, now I'm going to give you a chance. Well, first, let me explain about the value that we're portraying today, and that's the value of ike, okay? Ike means wisdom, and it's a kind of wisdom that doesn't just come from books, okay? This kind of ike is either intuitive, it's experiential, it's something that you had to have done, you had to have a part of before you know. Na'awao is the kind where you can learn, but ike is different. Ike is the kind of wisdom that Tutu imparted on Kunane, okay, that kind of ike. And some people will say, oh yeah, kupuna have ike, keiki have ike too, because especially our keiki today, the kind of world that they live in. They have more ike than some of us in certain things because we don't know, what they're up against, what they face. And so this ike is a good thing, but we have to be aware of where we're at when it comes to recognizing the value of certain of knowledge that you have. Okay. I would like for you during this little Naminuke Ha'avina time for you to think about different things that you could pass on, your ike, okay, and what you would say to pass on this ike, okay. Now some of you are thinking, oh no, I don't have any ike, okay. Get deep in yourself. Know your na'au. Know what you know that is valuable to pass on. Okay? I give you some time and I see you after we're pau. Ahui ho. Aloha. Okay, how many of you, what did you have on your list? Why don't you give me a call and tell me some of the things that you had on your list and some of the things that you said, okay? Now, those times that Minuke Havina is not time for you to go eat and, go get something to drink. It's time for you to practice, okay? Because I know some of you are going, oh, right on, I can go take a break, I gotta go lua, okay? No, those are the times that you're supposed to be honestly applying what you learn, okay? Maikai. Hikino. Let's talk a little bit about ike, okay? There's such a thing called ike papalua that people talk about, and that kind of ike is the sixth sense, and you'll notice that certain people are like that. They have this deep intuition, okay? So that kind of ike is very, very valuable, Okay, and I think that's when this is a good time to talk about the kind of ike that our kupuna have. Although I did say that, everyone has some kind of ike, you gotta admit that our kupuna have a lot of ike. Why? Because they've been around. And, ike lako, they've seen it. Yeah? It's interesting that that's the same word for this, that the word to see is the word for knowledge, that kind of knowledge, because it's experiential. It's ike is not just to see with your eyes, but to see inside, all the way through your being, that you ike certain things. Okay, the whole idea about this vignette was to allow people to realize that Ke'a Hawaii is something to talk about. It is something to consider. It is something to be concerned about. And not to just feel like, no, we can't talk about it, or no, I don't know how I feel about it and feel bad. It's okay. It's a growing process. We're all learning. We all need to understand what is Ke'a Hawaii and what does that mean for the people. And so one of which is learning the language. That's one of the most important parts. So when we watch the vignette this time, beyond the affect that we have, we have to, I would like for you to listen to what's being said and put yourself in that situation and try to say it along with Tutu, because you pretty much know what she's going to say at this point, I hope, okay? And try to feel what Kunane is feeling. Put yourself into the vignette as if you're right there at the dinner table with them, helping Tutu pay her bills, okay? All right? I think there's one part in there that you may not have understood, and she talks about how he asks her if she's happy or if she wants a Hawaii, and she says that, well, she's happy in this place, Ma'ini, that the neighbors are kind, and the land is kind of hot, but that place is kind of hot, but the people are nice, but and he says, but akaheaha, but what? And she says, oh, Maika Ikeia Aina no Kulāiwi, it's a good place for the fishermen, but not for her to grow her gardens and to plant her taro. And that's what she misses. And so that may be the only section that you may have a little bit pilikia, but listen to that. She talks about the lawai'a, fishing, and mahi'ai, the farmers, okay? Which are two very key people in a Hawaiian's life. Okay, so I'm going to give you a chance to review the vignette, and when you come back, I'll take that phone call, okay? Ahui ho.
Aloha mai e Kunane, pehea oe.
Maikai e Tutu, a o oe?
Oia mauno, mahalo. E ku'u mo'opuna, he hako pilikia. Make oe e wala au me au.
Ha'ole, a ohe pilikia.
E, o wau kou Tutu, ua mala mau ia oe mai kou wā li'i. E olelu mai.
Ai hiki no.
Nikai.
Keia la o olelo ke kumu e pili ana I Ke'a Hawaii.
A he hako mana'o.
A ole wau ike, o ko'a loa o Hawaii keia manawa. Nohea mai oe e Tutu?
Ike oe, no hau'ula mai au.
Ai, a ka, no ke aha noho kākou ma ma'ili.
No ka mea, ku ai ke au puni I ko'u aina ohana e hane I ka paka kahakai ma hau'ula. Ne e au me kou kupuna kane I ma'ili. No ka mea, e mi ka aina me ka hale ma'anei.
A hau oli oe?
Ano hau oli? Vela ke ia wahi a ka olu na hua noho. A
ka he aha?
Make nui au e malama I ka mala'ai a me ke ka lo'i kalo a pelaku. Maika I ke ia wahi no ka lawai'a, a ole no ka mahi ai.
Make oe ka ea Hawaii?
I ko'u mana'o, ho'omaka ke ea Hawaii makahale. E malama mua kākou I ko kākou kuliana. He Hawaii oe e Kunane. He hakou kuliana.
Malama ko'u ohana, a me ke akua, imi I ka na'auau, Malama I ka olelo me ka mo'omeheu Hawai'i.
Ike oi, nui kou mau kuleana makahale. A ka nae, e ho'omākaukau oe, e ho'olohe ina I ini o ka po'e Hawai'i. E helu helu ina nupepa, a e hele ina halawai no ke ea Hawai'i. E imi pono I ka na'auau. Maika I ke ea ina mākaukau kākou.
That's a heavy conversation, yeah, between Tutu and Kunane. Okay, let me say aloha. Aloha.
Aloha.
Ai, oi ko inoa.
O kaniala ko inoa.
Aloha, I kaniala no hea mai oi.
No hea o nohoa o makaha.
Mamakaha.
Mamakaha.
Ai, he aha kauni no. What's your question?
Could speak up a little. O make Olelo oe e ho'olohe oe I ko kupuna. O saying.
Ai kala mai?
Oh, that's the ka olelo haolea.
Hikino.
That's the thing I wanted to say. Ho'olohe oe I ka kupuna.
E ho'olohe vau I ko kupuna?
Ai o ina keiki.
Oh, ina keiki.
Ai.
Ai. Mai ka e.
Aha ole o ho'olohe o ka olelo Hawaii I keiki I kiwi.
Mai ka e. Mahalo. Mahalo kaniela no ko kelepunana mai. Ahui ho.
Ahui ho.
Ai. Kaniela wanted to, tell the keiki, and I hope you understood because that was pretty simple. Kaniela wanted to tell the keiki e ho'olohe I ko kupuna. Polole. E ho'olohe I ko kupuna. I think what this one vignette does for me is really miss my kupuna. I miss, when I watched this being shot, I thought, wow, here's Kunane sitting at the table with his, kupuna, and talking about Kea Hawaii. And I felt a little lost that my kupuna is gone, and I would have liked to have discussed this with her too at this time. But I can discuss this with my makuahine, my mama, who watches every show. Mahalo, mama. And we can talk about this. And I think it's important for our keiki to take the time to olelo, and share the olelo, Hawaii, with your makua, with your parents, me ko kupuna, with your grandparents, and to take the time to talk about Kea Hawaii and what does that mean, and where are we going as Hawaiians. All of that is concerning, and those are things that we should be thinking about. I guess I think about it a lot because of my own keiki, and I wonder what kind of Hawaii they'll be living in when they grow up. And kalamai, I get real choked up when I talk about this because I'm concerned about the kind of Hawaii that we leave for them. That the Hawaii that I envision is a Hawaii that Olelo Hawaii is a real part of, not just a token official language of the state. That it really is a viable means of communication. And this is what my gift is to my keiki. And I wonder how many of us out there can think of what your gift to your keiki would be when it comes to tomorrow and their future in Hawaii. So I offer you this as food for thought. Mea ai no ka no'ono'o, no he mau mea no ka no'ono'o. And take your time this week to talk story, olelo Hawaii, kekahi to each other. Or if you only have yourself, just sit there in front of the mirror and just vala'au, okay? But I wish you all a very hau'oli la ho'omaka'u. You got that? That's a happy Halloween day. Okay, hau'oli la ho'omaka'u. And don't let anything bite you out there, okay? Malama pono, ahui ho, kako apau. Ahui ho e ku'uwehi kua noni me ka lei aloha. Aloha. Hui ho.